Hey guys, we are a day late and a dollar short. Actually, we're supposed to be here yesterday at this time, but a lot of customers showed up. A lot of things happened in the small engine world here, and for some reason, people want mowers and things worked on. And it was 32 degrees yesterday with 50-mile-an-hour winds, so it was kind of interesting because I do a lot of my work outside, and yeah, kind of an interesting day. So some people got a hold of me, asked me what's going on with the stream. I told them I would be on today. We changed clocks, so technically it is what, 2:34. Really 1:34 for those who didn't turn the clocks. So in England, it's only 6:34 instead of 7:34. So anyway, let's see. We got a couple people watching. Let me throw the link out there. Where's the chat? Oh, there's the chat. Dave Kernet, how you doing? Let me get the. See. Oh, Bill Clement. Hello. Anywho, link is there. We'll see. Hank and Wayne should be showing up pretty soon. And I don't know if Klaus is showing up. If he does, he does. I don't know. I just got done delivering a lawnmower. That's why I was late. The customer liked to talk and talk and talk and talk. So we were literally talking for about 25 minutes. Otherwise, I would have been here on time. Anywho, hello, David. How are you? Let's see. Let me look back in the chat here. We got started with Dave. I went to Bill. And we went to David. Everybody's saying hello. Oh, a couple people in the basement. Who do we got? Mr. Hank.
Of course.
My ears are still screwed up, so if I say what, it's because I can't really hear.
Yeah.
So we'll go from there. Let's see. How's my volume, Hank?
Yeah, it's good. Good.
Let's see. Who else in the basement? We got one more. Mr. Wayne.
Hey, Wayne.
And I thought Klaus would be here. I'm drinking German beer.
There you go. So what's Chubby bringing tonight to the house?
No, that was last night.
Oh, would you
last night he brought moose and gravy, potatoes, onions, and the buns.
Now, like steak or what type?
No, it was like if you put a roast in a slow cooker
okay.
and it breaks up in like it's kind of shredded, and then we had it on buns. It was really good.
Oh, nice. I'm assuming totally lean, right?
Oh yeah, real nice. It was a young moose. It wasn't an old one. It came from his buddy was hunting up in New Brunswick, and he got it in New Brunswick.
Nice. Yeah, for some reason, yesterday, everyone started showing up with their equipment. I mean, no one, except for one of them, no one even called me. They just showed up, and I was getting ready to get, washed up and come in, and two people show up saying, "Oh, can you help me out?" And it's like, okay. And I'm looking at my watch, and finally I just said, "The heck with it. Let me just get it done, make some money."
Are these regular customers or people that just popped up?
Two people just popped up. One was a regular customer.
Yeah. Jake lets them know, and I let them know they got to do it by appointment. Otherwise, we won't touch it.
Yeah.
But sometimes a new customer said somebody sees them and he's got it loaded in his truck already. So as long as we got room in the shed to put it, we'll take it off.
Yeah, but that's what it was, and it was two pieces of equipment. I was able to finish everything up this morning, so it wasn't too bad. But like I said, especially a Saturday or Sunday, we're not supposed to get any rain for over a week now. So if it's in the driveway, I don't really care. But it's supposed to be warm this week. It's supposed to be like 50s.
Yeah, Lori said temperature here is going to go up, but then end of March we're going to get snow again.
Really? Because here they're talking end of next week's high 60s even. Crazy. But yesterday it was 0 Celsius with 50-mile-an-hour winds. It was crazy, And I do a lot of work outside, and I was telling Hank I had a quantum carburetor. I dropped the ball nut, put it on my tailgate, guy's here to pick up a snowblower. I load it up. We go back to my truck. Where's the bowl nut? The 50-mile-an-hour wind just took it somewhere.
You're lucky it didn't take the needle valve.
No, I just had the bowl and the nut off.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see what was in the carb. So I'm looking at my grass. I'm looking at the street. I'm like, oh, what the hell? I mean, I've got a couple machines in the back that have quantum, so I was able to get one. But I was like, really? Are you kidding me? So
yeah, that's why I got boxes and pails of old carburetors.
But I don't have a lot of quantums, though, because quantums are usually never bad.
Yeah.
I got a ton of like Honda carbs and Walbro Tecumseh carbs, but as far as the quantum, I may have one somewhere, but I don't know.
What was funny today is I get a phone call, but I got YouTube on and Terrell Live comes up. So he had a live repair stream today. And isn't the phone call I'm getting about exactly the same thing that he's doing on the lawnmower that he's working on?
Okay. Really?
So I said, and in no respect to Terrell, that video was crappy. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Wait, which one?
That's because his son, or Kyle, he had feces in his sewer backed up. So that's why I just said it's a crappy video. But all in all, the repair was good. But here's this guy on the phone, and I'm saying to the guy, listen, have you ever heard of Terrell's Live? And the guy says, no. I says, you got YouTube? Guy says, yeah. I says, well, go type in, like on Google, Terrell's Fixes All. He's fixing the lawnmower that you're asking me about right now. And he said, no. He says, I just need you to tell me whether or not I got this choke lever and like, is it supposed to go over top of the pin? And I said, well, yeah.
That was a weird choke lever, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
but I didn't see it yet. What type of mower was it? What was it?
It was a Cub Cadet.
Cadet, yeah.
A tractor or a push mower?
SC 300.
Okay.
And then Terrell says, oh, look it, they're even calling it what we said. The SC stands for Scrub Cadet.
Yeah, the H, what was the H something that he was saying? What the heck did he call it? Something about crap. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, the guy just wanted to know how to put the choke back together. And I said, make sure you got all the gaskets the right way, because I figured that was wrong on Terrell's. The guy put a gasket upside down or in the wrong spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm surprised they had that hole almost drilled out, where he put the gasket and said, well, it's a blocked hole anyways, I
didn't, you know what? I might not have seen it. I was welding shelves in the shop. I might have missed that part.
Okay. Yeah, but the gasket itself had a hole on the bottom where you had to match it up. But the hole that was in the carburetor was only drilled halfway through. So it wasn't.
It was like a blind hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a guy that answered a comment on one of my older videos about a KM90 steel, I guess power head or whatever, and he was saying it won't idle, it keeps stalling. So I was talking to my buddy Tom in Australia, who's like the two-stroke genius, and he said the carbs on those are terrible. So if you're listening, I forgot your name, but if you're listening out there, when you go to the dealer, all they're going to do is swap out the carb. And my buddy said, if the carb isn't it's an air leak. And, aside from going to the dealer and having it tested, you can try a new carburetor. I would recommend OEM for the steel. And if that doesn't work, you may have an air leak. My friend Tom and I worked on a chainsaw today. He's in Australia and I'm in America here. And I get him on FaceTime. He's now with our clock change, he's 12 hours difference. He used to be 13. So it's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's 9 p.m. where he is. So he's like getting ready for bed. And we're talking about this chainsaw. We worked on an MTD Craftsman chainsaw from the 90s. It's a 55cc saw. It's black, but it's like a one-off. It's a Chinese MTD. They only made it for like a year or two. Every single part on this saw is NLA. Every part. You can't get anything. I had to order a special carb kit for it. I put it together, but we discovered that this saw had what they call a dependent carburetor. And I didn't know what a dependent carburetor was. And what it is the high speed circuit feeds the low speed circuit. So if you don't have the high speed circuit opened enough, no fuel gets to the low speed circuit, it won't start. So at bare minimum, you turn the high speed screw instead of 1.5, 5 turns. Once you go
Wow.
to 5 turns, it allows the fuel into the low speed well so that you can turn out the low speed. But what a nightmare I had not knowing this. So
Yeah,
Tom said, the
you
reason you
think you were doing it wrong because an inch, 1.25 turn is typical, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
So why would you do 5? But you
because at
have,
like 3.5 turns, it starts to supply fuel to the low speed.
yeah.
So this saw, we ended up going about 5 turns on the high and 1.25 on the low, and it was running good. Well, he brings the saw back to me today. It's almost 2 years later. He brings the saw back to me. It was like blah 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 blah. But I tell you, Tom and I spent a half hour. We finally got it where I could cut logs in the back really good. But the problem is, we think it has a seal leak, some kind of air leak, because you'll rev it with the tack. It's like 10 grand. Then you let it sit for a minute. Then you rev it again. It's 12 and a half. You could
Hmm.
tell. And when it's the four-stroking isn't consistent. It isn't a consistent burble. It's like ba 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 ba. It's not consistent. So we know there's an air leak. We know it's not right. But like I said, I got it to where it runs. You could cut wood with it, but as far as like air leak and stuff, who knows what the seals are? I'm not going to spend any more time on it.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Yep.
All right. Who else? Only us in the chat. Let me see. Who else did I miss in the comments here? We got Richard Mowers and Blowers, Pachush, all that. Hold on.
Marcus from Guelph, Ontario. Hello from Port Colborne, Ontario.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, Guelph. I know Guelph. Isn't that next to where
Guelph.
Tyler and Erica are?
Close. I think they're, I don't think they're that far away.
That's north of you?
Yeah, we as a matter of fact, Jake just had a guy from Guelph wanted us to ship out a bottle of 00 grease to him. And Jake said, buddy, the grease is going to cost like $28 to ship to you, plus the cost of the grease. He said Napa just started carrying some 00 grease in tubes. I forget how, like a regular grease gun tube.
Yeah.
So he called his Napa up there, and he got that for the amount that he needed. It was no sense, but I got to give the guy credit. He says, listen, I watch all your videos. I subscribe to the channel, so I'd like to support you, but not to the tune of like $68 worth of something that he could get for like 18.
Oh, hello, Peter.
Just call Erica, $69.99.
I tell you one thing, though. I commented on Donnie Boy's grease video the other day. Whenever you see extreme pressure on the label, read the label. If there's any sulfur in there, it'll destroy the yellow metal. Now, the one that he called out, I looked up the double yellow that he had, and it said safe for yellow metal. And I looked up that Lucas oil he had, and it also said safe for yellow. But make sure it's safe for yellow metal, because I've had people use extreme pressure, whatever, and after a year, the gears just destroyed themselves.
Yeah. Well, look at Jason at Pates. He uses red and tacky. I think that's an extreme pressure, but it's yellow metal safe.
Yeah, as long as it's yellow metal safe, no sulfur. That's the thing. But sulfur is what gives it the lubricity,
Yeah.
So, anywho.
Now, Jake still hasn't been able to find any 0 grease to put in these Mantis tillers.
Yeah.
So if he can't, now he's down to he's getting a hold of one company.
But Wayne, you were saying double zeros too liquidy?
The Mantis calls for a 0, so we don't want to put a 00 in. So at the worst case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some 00, and I'm going to mix it with some of the spray white lithium, which is a grade 2.
Yeah.
And I figure if I go 30% or 33% white lithium spray
Yep.
to 2 parts of the 0.0, that should give me roughly a zero rating on the
All right,
grease.
where's Klaus? Come on, Klaus can answer this, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't need a lot because but the gear right now doesn't have any lube on it, and you're supposed to fill it to the flange.
Yeah.
Yeah, use a white lithium to fill it.
Yeah. But the worst thing I hate about those Manuses is they use the Phillips head screws on the plate that covers the transmission up with a cork gasket, and they blue Loctite them. So you really got to hold the pressure down on that screwdriver so you don't strip that.
Well, use a little impact, a little.
Or I've got the Knipex new pliers that I bought.
Yeah.
And I've used them twice already, twice or 3 times on stuff that I couldn't get busted free. Yeah. Over here, they were it was like $59 plus tax at Canadian Tire.
Wow. Really?
But to have the tool when you need it, so that you can get something done,
Yep, you're right.
Today I had on the bench Husqvarna 125B handheld blower. Okay, now everybody has on Bill, as long as it doesn't have sulfur in it. Lubriplate's a great lubricant too, but as long as it doesn't have sulfur, that's the main thing.
Yeah, no, this one's yellow metal safe,
and most of them say yellow metal safe. Anyway, so I had this Husqvarna on the bench today, and I was talking to Tom on the phone. I was taking it apart. I said, I turned the thing over, and I see like driplets of water. Like, where the hell's that coming from? It's been in my basement, So I take the gas tank, I pour it in. 250 milliliter of pure water, and then the fuel filter pops out. All right, 250 milliliter pure water, no fuel.
Wow.
Doesn't even smell like fuel. I'm like, the hell did you get this thing? Yeah. All right, all the guy said to me was it doesn't start. So I call him up and I go, where'd you get this thing? It's my son's. Yeah, but where did he have it? It was in a shed. I was like below a leak or something. I mean, how the hell? Now, the duckbill valve failed on the gas cap, but this whole thing was full, and they made the mistake of hitting the primer bulb. The whole goddamn carb was full of water.
He must have pumped in that gas out of a tank, but he must have got
no fuel. Hank, it didn't even smell like fuel.
Yeah, but he must have got it from a gas station or something that had a lot of water in their tank.
Oh.
Well, did you guys see Chicanic's latest video? Now, she uses ethanol shield. She swears by ethanol shield.
Yeah.
Yet, Terrell showed that ethanol shield does not stop jellification of the ethanol after 5 to 6 months. It builds up.
Yeah.
So she took out I think it was a 0 turn, and the gas tank. I couldn't believe the amount of water that was in her gas tank, and that's her own. That's a mower that she has that she uses, and she says it ran last year. But what happens is when you leave a piece of equipment either outside or in a shed with no temperature control, you get the sunny day in the winter.
It'll sweat.
Yes, and the tank sweats. So, and the reason I say this is because we had, like I told you guys before, everything's stored with Kinetics alkylate fuel in it, right?
Yeah.
Going to start up first pull. So those 2 little 1200 watt generators that we had, they got metal gas tanks.
Yep.
So the one was a parts generator, and the other one is a operational. One pull fires right up. So a guy calls and he wants to buy it. So I said, okay, line up a date. He said, I'll be there tomorrow. Beautiful. I take it out of the shed and I bring it into the garage. Now the garage is warm, but it's minus 15 degrees outside and in that shed. And maybe it's cooler in that shed because it's holding temperature from the night before, right? And I take it in, and the first thing I do is I go to the side and I want to just make sure that I don't have any water because I only put like a half a liter or a liter of fuel in there. So I didn't fill it right to the top.
Yeah.
And as soon as I open up, guess what? I got water in there, and that tank was dried, cleaned, and it was. So anyways, I drained the water out. I fired it up. It ran perfect, but I figured, you know what? Going to open it again and check. Little bit more water come out. So I did that a few times until I didn't get any more water coming out of it. I opened the bottom drain to get that little bit that sits at the bottom out, and it ran like a clock. But just condensation from the temperature changes from storing it outside. And we're guaranteeing that stuff starts, right? Like in 2 years. But if it gets water in there and too much water goes in, it's not going to start.
No. The condensation, that's terrible.
And then I see, you see people saying, fill the gas tank up, fill it right to the top. Okay. Well, if they fill it right to the top and it gets really hot, you know how much gas tanks cost when they split at the seam? Because like the snowblower ones, we had two, $185 Canadian for a snowblower plastic gas tank for Briggs & Stratton. Wow. And that's because they had them filled right to the top. They had them in sheds. It got super hot. They had them filled. It couldn't release enough pressure, so it cracked it at the seam.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I delivered a mower today, right? And the lady says to me, well, how often should I service this mower? I said, well, you really want to service it annually. And I think I charged her $80 because I had to drain out all the fuel, drain the carburetor, put a piece of shrink tubing on the plug wire because it was all chewed by mouse. And, I cleaned it up really good, sharpened the blade, air filter, oil change, just, got a new spark plug, got it running really good, And she's like, every year? She goes, not every 2 or 3? I said, you can do what you want. I said, but every time I pick something up, like I said, I picked it up from you, it didn't run. That's going to incur more cost. I said, if you bring it to me once a year, and I said, you can't bring it to me. And like I said, I'll only charge her. It's on the way home from work. I'll charge you $10. Big deal. It's on the way home.
Yeah.
I said, you're still talking, $50, $75. Oh, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
you could pay me now or you could pay me later, Kenny.
Well, you're going to pay someone $50 just to cut it once.
Yeah.
What I mean? So I don't know. What's 10 Miller saying? She thought she had worn a tanker's hole in the gas cap. I mean, a hole in the gas cap will give you a little bit, but it won't flood your tank.
Oh, she had a lot of water in there.
Yeah, that's condensation. Yeah. I've had gas caps with holes, and I'll be honest, it doesn't put that much in. But the one I got today, this Husky, I was like, I don't know how it got 200 milliliters of freaking water, pure water, like hardly any gas at all, And the duckbill valve on the gas cap is bad. I'm going to have to replace that. But there's no way a bad duckbill valve on a gas cap is going to allow 250 milliliters in a saw. No way.
No. And like Hank said, I told you guys before, I had one lady, we serviced her lawnmower. The first service with the belt and everything for the drive was $185.
Yeah.
And then 2 months later, you get the phone call. Well, I only used it once and it won't start. When it comes back, the gas tank's half filled with water. And then not a month later, it won't run again. And it comes back here. And again, the gas tank's got water in it. And we're going, where's all this water coming from? And find out she's buying it from a gas station that doesn't sell a lot of gas.
Yeah.
And when we told her to switch gas stations, hopefully she did. We never heard back from her. So hopefully it's running well.
Indiana Chris there, he says he stores it. He runs all the fuel out of it before storing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That condensation.
The condensation is still going to happen. Hot, cold,
Correct.
hot, cold, hot, cold.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
Now you're pouring fresh fuel on top of water. The water's going to go right to the bottom, and it ain't going to start.
Nope.
No, Hank, I watched that video that Chicanic did. She said about 4 gallons worth of water. I'm like, good.
There was a lot of water.
Oh, yep. I've seen it, though. I've seen tractors with gallons. Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Yep. But the thing was, the other tank wasn't no count. But the thing is how much it will cost to replace that the left side gas tank. I'm like,
Yeah,
well, unless you find
storage, it's tough.
Yeah, unless you find the used one. Like my buddy Brian at 5 Star, he calls me up and he said, "Hey, I got one of those Honda HR. I forget what it was, but it's the riding mower." He says, "What's the chance you got a gas tank?" I said, "Buddy," I said, "I think I kept one of the gas tanks. I bought 2 of them, and a guy from Toronto came and bought them off me. But I think I kept one of the gas tanks." And I went in and I looked. I said, "Holy shit, here's the tank." I gave it to him for half of what a new one costs and no tax.
I sent one to Mix Mowers once because the thing was cracked and everything. So I sent them that I had here. Just to send it was $20.
Yeah.
And
you just got to watch, Chris. You got to watch the design of the fuel tank. Most of the newer tanks have a well below the outlet, so it traps water. Like Tecumseh's do that. The Briggs usually will have the outlet tube, like at a Quantum, at the lowest point. So yes, if you drain out, 100 milliliter, the water should come out, and then the fresh fuel comes out. But sometimes if you have so much water in there, what I do if I'm going to store something outside, like my mower, my rear engine snapper that I love to death, it's out there all winter. What I'm going to do, it's got a full tank of fuel in it. I fill it to the brim, okay? But what I'll do come springtime in a few weeks, I'll take that tank off. I'll take the fuel hose off. I'll pour it in a big beaker. I'll see what's there. I'll put it through Mr. Funnel, all that stuff. I'll blow out the tank and I'll start fresh, and I'll drop the carb bowl and I start fresh. If I ever store it outside, I always go through the whole system, then I fill it up.
Or at least if you're going to store it outside empty, just pull the filter off. Let it sit dry.
Yeah, so let the air just keep it. Yeah, because if you have it vented properly, then anything going in there will just drain out. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But remember that it's off. So when you pour gas in it,
this spring,
I said to Hank on the way back, let me see what she paid me. The bill was $80. So we got here's 50. Here's 70. Here's 75. 6, 7, 8, 9, 80. No tip.
Well, remember who she is.
Yeah, I know. All right, whatever. But I said to her, she made out because for the extra $5, I removed the spark plug boot, put on a piece of nice shrink tube where the mouse chewed through it. I cleaned out her fuel tank, blew it out. I put fresh fuel in with some seafoam. Okay. And I wiped down her mower, which was kind of cruddy. So, I mean, to me, that's worth $5,
Kenny, at a shop, that would have cost her $200.
Oh, believe me. I know. A lot of people, they don't realize, and I said to her, I'm not an LLC, this and that. I said, to me, it's lunch money,
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh, yeah. When you talking about them gas tanks, yeah, the old rear snappers, that was what black ABS plastic, were the MTDs or that white stuff. I'm like, because after a while, those white tanks, they start turning yellow because all the gas has been in them.
Yeah, but I find the black ones, we've replaced, I don't know how many black ones that were cracked and none of the white ones.
Yep.
Haven't got a white one that cracked yet.
Yeah, because it depends on how they made it, blown mold and then some kind of injection mold. I mean, but
45.
Yeah, 45.
But this spring, likely 90% of the mowers that are going to come in here that don't start are they're going to have a combination. They're going to have water and jellification of the ethanol in the carb bowl. So even if it's got water in it, we still take the carburetor off and clean it. I just don't drain the water out and then put fresh fuel in, fire it up, and say, here you go. I already got the carburetor. It's coming off and it's getting cleaned, just to be sure.
Yeah, I tell you, mine paid for a lot of stuff. It really did. My daughter needed money to help her buy another car. Where do you think that money came from?
Yep.
Yeah, it helps. It really helps.
Oh, and that stuff, Terrell did that video on that Tri-G fuel stuff.
Yeah.
I ordered the bottle of it off of Amazon. They said mix 1 ounce to 16 gallons of gas. I'm like, I don't have but 5 gallons. 1 ounce per 16 gallons of gas. I'm like, man, that stuff's got to be
Yeah.
Yeah,
potent.
but how much you pay for that Pride G?
God, what I paid for it, I'd have to look it up on my Amazon account. They even sell it in the 1 gallon. Let me look that
What's
up.
it
Because
called?
in all reality, and this does work, you could take 3 gallons of fresh fuel that you just bought and mix it to 1 gallon of old fuel, and it'll run as though it was fresh fuel. They call it the 3-to-1 rule, and it works. But not here. Here, I use the customer's fuel to go in my Ford, in my truck, unless it's really bad. But normally, like, I take it out, I put it in, I make sure there's no water in it, I put an octane booster to it, I put the stabilizer to it, I throw it in the truck, and I haven't had any trouble in 11 years.
$25 for 16 ounces. That's expensive.
Yeah, especially if you convert that to Canadian at a $1.45.
Yeah. But if you only use 1 ounce for 16 gallons,
Yeah,
16 times 16, that's like 200 gallons. So yeah, I hear it's pretty good, the Pride G. I've never tried it.
he said it worked. It worked. Well, he showed it worked. That it
Oh, here you go. Buy it in 32 ounce. It's only $40 if you buy it by the quart. So instead of spending $50 for a quart, it's $39. So that's not bad. But like I said, I haven't used it, so I don't know how potent the stuff is.
Yeah, it's supposed to work according to Terrell.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Nope. Who's in the basement? Robert, what happened?
Yeah, you.
Internet. I say, then it goes back to 4G. I'm supposed to be 5G. I'm like, I don't know, but like I said, I'm gonna try that stuff because that gas can I got all that gas out of that generator. I'm gonna try that. Like I said, that's a lot of money right there. I forgot what I paid per gallon of gas at that one gas station, ethanol free. So I'm gonna try and see what happens. I'm gonna try to mix that fuel with fresh fuel I get this year, but the thing is, how much fresh fuel am I gonna actually get? I don't cut grass anymore. On the yard I cut the one I'm staying at. As far as customers, I ain't got nobody. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. Yeah, they call it Power Research Incorporated. Yeah.
A lot of people, they think that they have to fill their tanks and everything for the winter with what do you call it, like Aspen fuel. No. Just fill your carburetor, let the tank be empty.
And one thing, that Aspen, that evaporates pretty damn quick.
Yeah, you know what? Good point, Kenny, because it does. Jake went to fire up his snowblower that he rebuilt. So it's been sitting 2 years. We haven't even used it this year. It's like it's that 3-part.
Yeah, was it empty?
Rebuilt. So he went looked at the gas tank. He says there's no gas in it. It's all evaporated.
I put a quart in mine in January. I go to use it the middle of February. It's like 1/8 of an inch. There's like nothing in there. I'm like, what the hell?
But we know we got no ethanol gel in the carburetor.
If it's in the carburetor by itself, there's no air, so it'll stay.
Well, Tecumseh carbs do have that little vent, that little teeny hole in the carburetor, so some of it might. But I'm just saying the tank itself, from now on, if I put it in there, I'm going to put like a neoprene glove and turn the cap so it doesn't vent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because when I used to have my 33-inch high vac sniper, I would have to every year when grass season start empty out that gas and go buy fresh gas because all I could get was ethanol gas. I'm like, man, I would buy the 91 octane at the marathon, but the thing was, it was that hose that you had your 3 different grades, but you only had one hose. So
yeah.
I was getting I ain't no telling what octane I was getting.
It was funny. I had a blower in the back that I used for the bowl jet that I lost yesterday, right? I go to unscrew. this little ratchet, varnish. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
got all over my hand. I was like, man, now, yeah, your hand's gonna
Smells
smell
good, eh?
Ugh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, was it those little bowl nuts? Aren't they brass or
Well,
they
brass
brass
and mine. There
plated?
was such wind yesterday. I go to help one of my customers load a snowblower, and the 50-mile-an-hour wind took the bowl nut to Never Never Land.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because if it was brass plated and you had a magnet, you find it, but it being straight
No,
brass,
it's just brass. And Tom was telling me from Australia, don't you have a metal detector? And I'm like, nope.
yeah, there you
You got
go.
one of them rolling magnets?
I do, but it's
Yeah.
brass. It's not going to pick it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, forgot about
Unless
that.
it's brass plated or zinc plated.
Yeah, no, it's
Well,
solid.
just remember, next year when you're snow blowing your driveway, if something goes through a passing car and it turns out to be that,
Yeah,
that
you never
ball
know.
nut, you'll
Well,
know where it
searched my
was.
glass. I searched the street, searched
Yeah.
the back of my pickup, but whatever.
Yeah. Maybe one day you'll be walking out there somewhere and you'll step.
Uh-oh. Oh, I think Chris jinxed him. He's having intranet problems. Yeah. Uh-oh. Hold on. Is he back? Uh-oh. Where's Hank? Now we lost Hank?
Hank looked like he froze up there.
Yeah, he's no longer in the basement.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh yeah, and I got it on my lawnmower shop. He lost a tool. He's working on a pump at the repair shop. He's on well water. I go down there with a magnet, find a tool. Yeah, I forgot what he get. I think he gave me some Echo 2 socket oil 6-pack for finding that tool. I'm like, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing about places that got warm weather, eh? They don't have a long enough cold season that they don't use it, that they got issues. They're cutting their grass like Texas and California.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to David down in Louisiana, Dave Kernan, our buddy there. He's been mowing for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people is gonna be weeds first, then grass after the fact. The reason I got that grass because we have dandelions and you need to get them up and out of the yard because otherwise they keep reseeding all over the place. Like, nope.
You got to take Robert. You got to take care of the bees. That's their first food in the spring is the dandelions.
Oh, really?
Without any dandelions, if we got rid of all the dandelions, we wouldn't have no bees. No bees, we don't have any pollination. No pollination, we don't have any food.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, hey Wayne, talk.
One lady,
are you in sync? Say
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. No,
we're in sync to each other, Arch. It must be you, because when Wayne is speaking, hold on a minute, Wayne, just say something real quick.
Arch is late. Yeah, I'm a little off. Arch
no,
is
you're perfect to me. You're exactly.
I look a little off to me, but Arch is likely smoking some of that good stuff.
Oh.
Oh yeah, because last night he started live streaming, like he went off, then he came back. And I'm like, one but two people watched that first one. He's like, forget it. Then he came back. I'm like, well.
Well, he starts talking about the animals dying. I was getting depressed, you know?
Yeah.
I was thinking about all the pits I had to put down, you know?
Yeah. Oh, but you was talking about the dandelions, Wayne. I had this one lady. Her yard, at a certain time of the day and a certain time of the year, the dandelions would open up when the sun come out. And that was my indication mark if I missed a spot. I mean, her whole front yard, you could see dandelions everywhere. It's like, but she didn't care. But I cut the grass and whatever.
The Canadian government banned all the stuff that would kill most of the weeds. Like, like the Roundup that you sell in the States, we can't bring it over here into Canada.
Yeah, there's something in it.
So all of our parks and everything are loaded with dandelions when they used to be sprayed and clear, but now they're just loaded. And a lot of people, they got allergies. They're hurting really bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they've been showing advertisements on YouTube down here in Georgia. litigation people are going after farmers for using glyphosate.
Well, the old Roundup, the old
I'm like,
formula caused a lot of cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the crap
now,
suit. Monsanto,
yeah, like
they got the crap suit out of them. You know, crazy.
yeah, like I said, they,
Hey,
you know,
Pete.
they talk, yeah, they say Georgia farmers feed America, but yet the litigation is going after for using glyphosate. I'm like, oh, what are they supposed to use?
Yeah. And the thing is,
I mean, that's a lot of money.
You bitch and moan about the price of produce,
Yeah.
but if you do it the organic way, it costs money. You know.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, because they ain't no telling what a peanut farmer spends a year in peanut seeds to plant so many acres of peanuts. And the Vidalia sweet onions, a true Vidalia sweet onion comes from Vidalia, Georgia. How much does that cost to plant an acre of them?
Hey guys,
Mr. Shaw, what's going on?
Well, you could get a free jar of peanut butter. All you got to do is send.
Missed you yesterday.
No, I didn't do yesterday. I had customers show up and money first, so I took care of my customers.
Money first.
Yeah. But what are you up to?
How you doing?
My internet again.
Oh well, it's spring here. I just hadn't been busy yesterday all day out in the yard and trying to get things planted out because I'm a major gardener here. So
how warm is it out there now?
Today I think it's 72.
Wow.
Where are you located?
Central California.
Oh, okay.
How close are you from like LA, or is that more south?
That's more south. We're in the center of the state, so we're that's about 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
Yeah. What center though? Like Sacramento or Napa, or what center?
Fresno.
Oh, Fresno. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're 35 minutes south of Fresno.
Okay.
So you didn't have any forest fires where you are?
No. No, the forests closest to us are up in the mountains, and those are the Sierra Nevadas. So we have had many fires. I'm sure you've seen that on TV.
Yeah.
Fortunately, when they happen, they don't go into the valley. Most of our areas here are farmed, so the ground is maintained. So there really isn't any wild forest area on the valley to speak of. Not to say there's not a chance it could happen. They are raising fire alerts here now. But fortunately, so far, those fires haven't affected us. And rightly, the insurance, although we're all going to end up paying for it, those insurance companies.
With Florida, with all the stuff with Florida, now half of them you can't even get insurance down there.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I just saw North Carolina had fires, and Long Island area, New York State, I guess had
eastern Long Island right now.
Yeah, they got it out.
Yeah, they said they had 4 Blackhawks, 660 gallons every time they loaded up. 660 gallons of water for the National Guard.
Yeah, actually, I had to make a insurance claim on my home for some water inclusion from a bathroom, and they switched me 3 times on adjusters because all that stuff was happening in LA. So all their handlers were being used to handle all those claims. Sure. And my handler was out of Texas, so they're not even in the state. But it's kind of been a frustrating situation for me. But I feel for those people in LA that they're never going to get what they had back. No.
I mean,
it's so expensive to live there.
You got 2 minutes to grab everything that you want for the rest of your life. It's like, come on,
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not all about money. I mean, you're losing lifetime things that you can't ever get back.
Yeah. I was thinking it was what the hell's his name? Mel Gibson. He was saying the only thing he grabbed was like a strong box that had birth certificates, stocks, all the important documents. He said it's all he grabbed. The rest he goes to replace.
Yep.
Well, in the end, I guess you just have to say those are just things, and if you have your life and your family, then you've got all you need. But it is hard. when you realize some of the things like you want to go back to and, oh, that's right, that burnt in the fire. So I can't imagine having to go through that. So, you know, whether they were huge estates or just everyday houses, it's still sad. Now, of course, the people that don't have to ask how much, they'll be back. They'll have built bigger and better probably, but I think a lot of them will. It's so expensive over there. Even if you have a lot of money, I think it's going to be difficult to get things built, and they're going to think again about where they're going to build and how they're going to handle it, because they can't rely on the services there to prevent that kind of a fire. It's just there's not a lot you can do. No one would expect that.
Yeah, there were a few places where the houses actually had roof sprinklers and stuff like that, but then the water ran out.
Yeah.
So
now I saw some, and I don't know exactly, I forget exactly where it was, but there was a country that actually had 2 stages of fire hydrants. They had because they were along an ocean like California, they had gigantic fire hydrants, but they were taking the salt water. And then you had your regular hydrants. So if they ran out of fresh water, they could go to the salt water. And then they said all they do after they use that, they just got to back flush everything with fresh water to clean it out. Now they said you still got to service the pumps more often when you're using those pumps with salt water, but it's just a regular maintenance thing like anything else. You maintain it, it's going to work.
The only thing with the salt water, you kill all the vegetation though.
Yeah, but then you won't have a fire because there's no vegetation to burn. Like, I'm surprised that because it's so desolated now in California that they don't put big saltwater lines in with special hydrants with big pumps and generators, whatever they need, that if power fails, they got generators to run those pumps. And because it burns every year.
Yep. Wouldn't surprise me if they do go to a system like that. I mean, the same thing, they're always desperate for fresh water, and they have all that ocean water. You know, Israel, all their water is from desalination. And they are kind of pioneers in the technology, and they can apply it there too. It's just it is expensive, but look at what they're doing here to get their water. They're taking everybody else's. You know, they're taking it from all of it comes from Northern California and Arizona. So it's been a constant battle, and you can see now that they have had these issues, and they had some of the reservoirs empty for whatever reason. I guess they were doing maintenance or something. But it just shows when is a good time for that. It's just like when one of the fuel manufacturers, when they go down for servicing, all prices go up. Fluctuates a lot more here than other states for what, I guess, because of our custom blends and so on. But the slightest little excuse, and then they raise the price. I mean, we've had gas around $5 a gallon. Last few weeks it dropped down some, and yet the price of oil is lowest ever. So it's crazy here.
Yeah, it's in the 60s now, I think 60 something a barrel.
Like 67.
The same amount here for heating oil that you are for your car fuel. You know.
Yeah. Now that's one thing we don't have to worry about is heating fuels. I don't think I maybe run my fireplace. I have a gas fireplace, but I ran it maybe 2 or 3 times this year, and that's it. So I do like having fires, but it's just too warm to have them. You know, you got to open your windows and doors to make it cold enough in the house. Me needing to run one, but yeah,
I got a
that's
buddy in
how it
San
is there.
Diego. He just has ceiling fans. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a natural gas fireplace in our basement, and I remember the time the power went out for 2 days here in the winter. And just by having that fireplace down there, without any hydro, the blower doesn't work, but it radiated the heat to the basement, which rose up through the floors to the, upper level. So it was fine. Like, we were comfortable.
Yeah.
Plus, we got all kinds of natural gas here in Canada, like Lake Erie. They've got gas wells out there drilled inside, like all over the place.
Well, California has lots of natural gas. Also, it's just the regulations won't let us, get to it. We have some of the largest reserves in the states. Is right here in California, and yet they're pushing laws to ban using natural gas appliances, which is just so stupid.
Our government was trying to do that too. They wanted to start put bans on natural gas stoves and natural, they wanted to ban it and go all electric. Well, they don't even have the facilities to supply the electricity.
That's right.
You know what I
Same
mean?
thing
Like
about the EV vehicle mandate. That
we
there's not
haven't got enough
power.
infrastructure here to charge up all the cars they want in this country.
Yeah.
Right. And now with these tariffs, the Trump's doing or potential to. I understand Canada wants to charge tariffs on the power that we get from across the border.
Yeah, he
And
put a 25% surcharge. He didn't call it a tariff. He put a surcharge, so he raised the price. Now, one of the issues locally that we've got is we've got a steel melting plant here in Welland, which is 15 minutes away, and they were the biggest supplier of stainless steel in, I think, all of North America at one time. Atlas Steels was a gigantic company, used to employ about 3,000 employees, I think. And right now they're still operational under another name, but they have to do all their melting at midnight on the midnight shift so they can get the cheapest rate. Yet their argument has always been all the excess hydro you've got, you're selling it to the States at below cost. So really, we're paying a higher premium for our hydro to subsidize what they got to get rid of, because you can't store it unless you're going to put it into great big collections of battery storage like they've done in California, which all caught on fire too,
Yep.
And blew up.
Yep. Yeah, that's not the answer. All these battery. I think solar is a good thing, but they still don't have it down. They've got an it's a lithium iron phosphate storage, which now that kind of it greatly reduces the chance of having fires, but there's a lot still regular lithium ion and like all your cars, whenever you hear about a Tesla gets in a wreck and is on fire, it takes three fire trucks and millions of gallons of water to put the darn thing out. And just imagine all of the cars on the road with that potential.
Yeah.
Talk about fires, you'd have fires everywhere, and as many cars as California has, it's not the answer. I think the hybrids are a good idea, because you have the reliability of liquid fuel engine combined with the advantages of regenerative braking, so that you get some of that energy back electric wise. And of course, you have an instant torque with the electric motors and so on. So I think it's the best of both worlds thing. I think they just pushed this all electric thing too soon. I'm curious about the hydrogen. Elon Musk has apparently invented, basically this hydrogen engine can run off water, and
the storage of it and the tanks that you would need to be safe weigh half the weight of the car.
Mm-hmm. But look how much weight these batteries are. Before Trump came along, I mean, the mandates for converting garbage trucks, large vehicles, to electric were set in place, and I work for our city here. That department was looking into. We actually had a consultant come and talk about them, but they weigh as much as 3 garbage trucks, and the damage they'll cause on the roads, because the roads weren't built for that kind of load. It has repercussions. You want to go clean, but how are you really saving if your roads aren't built for the weight, and now you've got to redo your roads, twice as often, which isn't going to happen because it costs so much, and all those petroleum products. And then
the bridges.
Sorry?
How about the bridges? They can't take the load.
Oh yeah.
If you
That's
loaded
true.
a bridge up with all electric vehicles compared to regular vehicles, will it sustain the load, or will they all start caving in?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a study here in California that there's a lot of our bridges that don't meet standards, and we have the earthquakes, and you see what happens when they can't handle the earthquakes. A lot of people die. So there's a lot of things they haven't thought of that you're going to run into switching over. I think it's good that they're working on it, and it's good that they're making strides in it. But these mandates, it's not fair to everybody else because the technology's not there, and they're going to make everybody pay so much more for getting around. I mean, all these electric vehicles that have been selling lately without the government uh, programs that are subsidizing it, you wouldn't see people buying them. They're just too much money.
And the thing I got a problem with is I can see where when you look at tires, there's not enough tire recycling operations in North America. So the tires are all over the place. What's going to happen with all the batteries before the news hits? We're going to see mountains of lithium-ion batteries just in piles because nobody's going to recycle them. They haven't set up any recycling sites for them.
Yeah.
They basically go ahead with mandates without having infrastructure for the mandates.
Yes. I look at our nuclear sites. They wanted to close our last one down completely, but then our governor realized that he would not be able to supply enough power without it, and so they did an extension on that nuclear site there at the coast. And but yet they've done all this, but they built this huge storage facility in another state. I think it's like a Utah or something like that, where it's like this massive cave structure goes into a mountain, but then they never got approval to open it, and it's all ready to go. But so what they're doing is they're making anyone who's got nuclear facilities to store the waste on site, and so they're running out of room.
Yeah,
And
no doubt.
You got to be able to do something with it, and and I'm all for it, but they just need to get off, on the ball and get those things approved and get them moved. But I think they were running into problems with just transporting it. Also, you remember the big railroad wrecks that they had there back east, and caused havoc and killed people and ruined the air and water around there. Anyway, moving this stuff has a major hazard as well. So.
Well,
But
it
I
always
think
got neat when they canceled the Keystone Pipeline originally, but now they're transporting it. So it's costing them more to get the oil. Then it's going on to trains. The railroad tracks haven't been sustained the way they should be sustained.
Yeah.
That's why you've got, what was that, East Palestine? That was the big one. That was a disaster.
Yes. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, we're coming up on an hour. I'm going to end it in an hour because I got a lot of stuff I still got to do.
Okay, Kenny, get back to work with all those people.
Oh, my God. Well, I just looked at my Amazon. That pressure washer I worked on last week, the pump just got here like minutes ago.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully I can get that on. But now hopefully with the time change, we'll have a little more daylight today.
Yeah.
So that'll help out. But anyway, thanks to everybody. Randy, Wayne.
Thanks,
I don't know
good
where
to see
Hank, Robert, out in the abyss.
Randy.
All right,
Take
we'll
care,
see you guys
everybody, in the chat. Goodbye.
Next week it'll be back to Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So
okay, buddy.
See you.